Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about car loan payments and how they're made of a mixture of interest and principal payments. We're going to be able to use the APR, the length of the loan, and the monthly payments to do a bunch of calculations with. Let's get started. So we have this loan here, and we're going to borrow $9,000 with an interest rate of 8.75% for 3 years and a total of $9,000 borrowed, and we know our payment is given to us as $285.15. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to see how much interest we're going to pay in that first month. So to do that, we know that we pay 8.75% APR on the money we owe, which is $9,000. So we take our $9,000 and we multiply by our APR is at a decimal. So I'm going to move it 2 places over. So that's going to be 0.0875. And we do that math. 9,000 times 0.0875. We get $78.75. It caught me as a little bit of a low number at first. Let me just check that real quick. 9,000 times 0.0875. There it is, $787.50. I must have missed a decimal. Okay, so 700, and that's our annual interest. I know it's annual because we use the APR to calculate it. So to find the monthly interest then, because I want to find that in the first month, we're going to divide that number by 12. I'm going to put an arrow here showing me answers this way, and we're going to just do it divided by 12, and that gives us $65.63 in the first month interest. So $65.63 for the first month's interest. All right, awesome. So we know in our first month we're going to pay that much in interest. Now our payment is $285.15, and we just calculated that we owe $65.63 in interest. The question now is, well, how much money is left over from our payment? So what we do is we take our payment of $285.15. So this payment is made up of both interest and principal payment, minus the interest, $65.63. And when we do that, we have $285.15. That's 5. $285.15 minus $65.63. We get $219.52. And the meaning of this number, this is the leftover amount after the bank takes their interest out. So I sent this check in for $285.15. The bank takes their $65.63 of interest, their profit, out of this payment, leaving this much to actually pay off the loan. So this pays down the principal. Which you'll remember, the principal is referring to the amount of money we still owe. We call that the principal on the loan. All right, this next graphic hopefully gives you a visual of how this works. So this is that $285.15, this lump of money here, and it's broken into 2 pieces. A smaller piece in this case of $65.63. That's the interest payment. That goes off to the bank. And then a larger piece of $219.52, and that goes to actually pay down the loan. So then the question pops up. Oh, interest portion, principal portion. So the interest portion goes to the bank. As their profit. And we might add a note here that this does not benefit us. And then the principal pays down the loan. So this does benefit us. Technically, the bank takes both chunks of money, but at least when they take the principal portion of the payment, that's going to reduce the amount of money we owe in the future, whereas the interest portion doesn't. All right, awesome. That's that first page. Good job. On to the second part. So Chloe and Hans are arguing about how interest is calculated. Just pause the video here, read over what Hans and Chloe are saying, and see if you can come up with an explanation for who you agree with and why. Unpause the video when you're ready to hear my take on it. All right, you're back. So here, Hans is correct in this case. So the interest is calculated each month, and it's based on how much money you owe in that month. So interest is calculated monthly. When I was younger, I thought the interest on loan was kind of baked in. You couldn't avoid paying it. But the reality is if you pay off extra, then the interest next month will be calculated based on whatever you have left on the loan. It's not baked in. It's not part of the loan. It is just what you owe that month and how much you pay for that. All right, let's get to the next calculations. So Nora's looking to purchase a new Nissan Leaf, needs to borrow $25,000. She gets an offer for a 5-year loan with an APR of 5.25. That's a really good APR for a car loan, and which makes her monthly payments $447.65. All right, so how much will she charged in her first month? Well, that's similar to the other one that we started with. So we're going to say we're going to need to find 5.25% of the $25,000 loan. So we're going to take $25,000, multiply that by our percent, but as a decimal, so 0.0525, and that's going to give us 25,000 times 0.0525, $1,312. and 50 cents. Now, of course, that's the annual interest because we use the APR to find it. So to find the monthly interest, we're going to simply divide that by 12. Divided by 12, and that gives us 109.38. So 109.38 in monthly interest. Awesome. So now the question is, how much will go to paying down her principal? Well, of the $474.65 she sends in, the bank takes out their $109.38 profit right away, and we have to figure out how much is left over now to actually pay the loan down. So we take the $474.65 and we subtract from that the interest of $109.38 that the bank keeps. And we get $474.65 minus $109.38. We get $365.27. And so this pays down the loan. Or is applied towards a principal, or however else you want to say it. So then after this first month of payment, what will her total principal be? How much will she still owe after her first month of payment? Well, we might normally think that the $25,000, we would subtract away the payment of $474, and that's how much she owes in the second month. But remember, $109 came out of it as interest. So she didn't actually pay down the loan by this much. She paid it down by this much. So it's going to be, she's going to owe $25,000 minus the principal portion of the payment, which is $365.27. So when I do that, I get 25,000 minus 365.27, and we get 24,634.73. Still owed. And then the reason it didn't decrease by the full 475 is the bank took its 109.38 in interest. Awesome. This next one's going to go to talking about how expensive the loan is going to be for Nora. So the first question we have is, how many total payments will she make? Well, it's a 5-year loan and she makes her payments monthly. So we're going to find the total number of payments is 5 years times 12 months per year, and that is going to equal 60 months or 60 payments. And since each payment is $474.65, and Nora will make 60 payments, how much total money will Nora spend? So this question always has a lot of missed answers to it. This question of how much will you totally spend? People want to do all kinds of complex interest calculations, but if you know the monthly payment and you know the length of the loan, you know if you pay this off every month and you do that for 5 years, you're going to pay the loan off perfectly. So all you have to do is take the number of payments. In this case, she's going to write 60 checks. Each check is going to be $474.65. So to find that, we're going to just multiply the amount of each check times the number of checks or payments. So we get $474.65 times 60 is $28,479. So she's going to end up spending $28,479 to pay off this loan. And that number should be a little bit more than what she borrowed, and it is. So yay. And that little bit more is interest. So in this next one, it says, how much total interest will she pay? Well, she just takes her total true. So this is also called, the true cost. So you might wonder why it's called the true cost, and that's because it's what it really cost you to buy the car. Like you agreed to pay $25,000 for it, but really when you're done, you actually paid $28,479 to buy the car. To find this, all we do is we take the true cost of $28,479 and we subtract away the money we borrowed, the original principal amount, $25,000, and we find that we have $3,479 of total interest. Awesome, my friends. I hope that was helpful. I hope you were able to see the bottom. Oh, no, I don't think you can see the bottom. Well, you can see it now. I apologize for that. I'll keep better track of that in the future. All right, have a great day, everybody, and we will see you on the flip side.